Here's everything I know about designing stuff to flush mount on walls. I start off by measuring the diameter and the height of the screw head as well as the thread diameter. Next, I dimension a construction line where I want the keyhole. Then I use a center to center slot to make a slot that's the width of the screw thread plus about 0.2 millimeters and around 10 millimeters in length. After that, I add another slot on top of the first slot that's the diameter of the screw head plus 0.2 millimeters. To finish the sketch, I add a circle at the bottom that's the size of the larger slot, and then I extrude out the bottom circle and the smaller slot, the height of the screw head plus 2 millimeters, which is 5 millimeters in this case. Then I select this outer profile, change the start option to offset, make the offset -2 millimeters to leave a 2 millimeter thick wall, change the extent to 2 object, and then select the face at the bottom of the slot to cut down to the bottom. This creates the cubby where the screw head will sit. If the keyhole is against the print bed like this, I just print it without supports. And here's how it turns out. I recommend extruding out an extra 0.2 millimeters at the bottom since there's a little sag with bridging so it won't be too tight. If I'm printing a part on its side, I could use tree supports just on the edges like this, but instead I use custom supports that I make by creating a rectangle across the bottom hole, extruding the rectangle the thickness of the wall, and then making a rectangular pattern to pattern the custom support across like this. Here's 3 sample prints. One without supports, one with tree supports, post removal, and one with custom supports, post removal. Also make this by adding a small circle at the center of the small slot and extruding out a separate body, making sure that I select new body, and then extruding a 1 millimeter tall cylinder from the small circle and chamfering it. At the end, I use press pull to add 0.1 millimeters of slack so it won't get stuck. Now I can put the little part in the slot, add some lead, and make a mark where I want it on the wall. Full disclaimer, this guide idea came from Brian's Lots of Goods account, so check him out if you haven't already. And to make the screw the perfect depth, sometimes I make these little screw height guides. Here's how. I create a big slot about 30 millimeters long and 20 millimeters wide, and then I make another slot from the outer edge of one end to the center point. I make this slot the width of the smaller slot from before. To give me a place to grip it, I add a couple circles here to make a ring. Then I extrude out the wall thickness of 2 millimeters and add some extra height for the ring. I finish it off with the fillet here and chamfers on the edges like this. And for keyhole sizes I use a lot, I make a negative like this. Using the small profile as the keyhole, I extrude out the small slot and circle the wall thickness of 2 millimeters, and I extrude the whole profile the height of the screw head in the opposite direction. You can even do the custom supports the same way as before, except cut away the rectangle this time since it's a negative. Now anytime I need this keyhole, I just insert the component, unground it, position it using a joint, and cut out the body. Hope this helps.